Boom. There we are. Popped right up.
Yay!
Twitch is doing the bits, everybody. It's Wednesday. We get ready to record episode 424, which is not episode 423, because we did that one last week. It'd be silly if we just redid it.
Yeah.
I think I've been very, very fortunate over the years where I've only had to re-record an episode once. And I learned from that experience. I'm like, let's never do that again.
That's not fun. No, I've had to do that before.
Oh, boy. What is going on, everybody? Middle of the week. We're getting ready to record a weekly Daily Wednesdays. We're going to be talking about the open source Winamping. You might remember that if you're of a certain age, or maybe if you're a Zoomer, you're like, what's a media player? You mean, what? I don't know. Maybe it's a thing. And of course, we have the magic, the NVIDIA drivers that were foretold are here. 555 beta. I'm gonna tell you why that's such a big deal. And maybe you want to benchmark your SSDs, your HDDs, whatever your DDs, like a Windows user. I'm gonna show you how to do that in style. And of course, M.2 hats have arrived for the Raspberry Pi. The official ones anyway, not the ones that have been out for like 6 months. These are the Raspberry Pi ones.
Yeah.
All that and probably nothing else, because that's all I got in the show notes.
Yeah. Aw. Welcome, Mir, and our Theron, and Steve Husband.
Oh, hey everybody. How we doing? Catching up on some news and browsing the little social medias, seeing what's going on. Not seeing anything terribly exciting. Anything crazy going on today?
No, I haven't. Yeah.
No? No crazy?
Well,
like rampant insanity? Just absolute unabridged madness?
my notifications weren't quite as intense this morning as they usually are, so.
You get intense notifications? What do you justify to be an intense notification?
Well,
when you look at a notification, you're like, wow, that's an intense
No,
one,
just
right?
a lot. Because of all my, on my phone, of course, I'm subscribed to everything from TikTok to Instagram to Facebook and
you said there wasn't
Threads.
a frequency, there wasn't a deluge of them.
There wasn't a deluge. I didn't have the waterfall effect on Android. In other words, as bad today. I still had some, but I didn't have like hundreds of notifications like I do every morning.
All right, let me get this.
Yay, cool shirt Steve Husband got me. I'm going to talk about it in the show.
Steve got your shirt?
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a Tomorrowland shirt. Really sweet.
Here we go. All right. Not a Today Land.
Yeah. It's nowadays it's actually retro future land. They're keeping it retro, like the way Walt had it envisioned Disneyland, Tomorrowland.
There we go. Look at that. Oh, I'll scoot you over there, OBS. And I'm going to slide this out. And all right. Yeah. Goodbye, Twitch. It blows my mind when I see people streaming. I see people streaming the show to the desktop, and they got like it doesn't matter if they're on Twitch, doesn't matter if they're on YouTube, but they got like the entire studio up and running while they're streaming. Mm-hmm. I'm like, do you know how much of your system resources you're wasting by having that page open for no reason? Like, what are you getting out of that? Pop out your chat. That's all you need. Close the rest of it. It takes some horsepower to run that video. But are we like that these days? We just don't care. We're just like, I got so much power, I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. See, there's our. Isn't that cool? They just came out with a model kit of Space Mountain, and Steve bought it at Disneyland. It's beautiful.
Steve, that looks like you bought a Space Needle model, but you couldn't afford the whole kit. That's all that looks like.
No.
They don't give you the bottom half.
It's Space Mountain.
Hey, Scott, what's
bottom
going
half
on?
of Space Mountain is on the ground.
You got a knockoff Space Needle.
Yeah, it does kind of actually. Yeah. You are right.
All right. We're gonna rock and roll today, so we got about 6 minutes before we're gonna
Okay, let me go take a quick break. I'll be right back.
hop out, pop in. Let me see what's going on over in the world of Linux gaming. What are we gonna be talking about on Saturday? Oh man, IGN bought all the gaming outlets, didn't they? They did. That's wild. I haven't had anything. Who did they get? They got GameIndustry.biz, Rock Paper Shotgun, which is wow. I remember Rock Paper Shotgun used to be like the business, like that was the edgy internet gaming site in the olden times. Eurogamer, and I follow Game Industry Biz. They even have a Mastodon account. I pull it up and I'm like, hey, look, actual news. And it's not like clickbaity BS. Oh, I guess those days are soon gone, which is kind of unfortunate. Kind of is, a little bit. And I tried that Matrix Awakens demo. Did everybody see that? That was going in a chat realm in our Discord yesterday. I was late to the party. This guy, you remember that? What was that? That was like 2 or 3 years ago. It was the Matrix City scene. All right, Arthurian posted the link. I downloaded it. All 16 gigabytes of it. I'm like, this would be fun to play around with for a second. I was in here doing some filming. So I had all the PCs on. I'm like, well, maybe just put that in the background. Fired it up. Nothing. It just timed out like 60 seconds and it wasn't done or didn't start doing whatever rendering thread it needed and just threw an error screen. Tried it like 2 or 3 different ways. I even enabled display compositing. Like maybe it's one of those weird edge cases. Wouldn't run. I was like, oh man. A little disappointed. Yeah, you should try it, see if it runs. It didn't. I'd get upset about it. I was like, all right, whatever. (2001). What do you do with this stuff, Steve? Like, you just look at it when you're done with it? You put it in a closet? Or on a shelf? I don't have anything that I just put somewhere and occasionally go up and like look at it. I don't know. Like I get the idea of like taking the time to like, build the model, like paint the model and like that. But I always think down the line, like, then what do I do with it? But there's just like put it on a shelf. And I think like maybe some of it's like trying to be considerate because, as much as we love stuff that we make and all that, our friends and families and relatives, once we're deceased, are just going to have to throw all that away. They don't care about it. I'm like, man, you don't want to collect a bunch of stuff. I don't know. Does Linux rule? I don't know. That's a hot take. Windows rules. I don't know. Maybe if it was like 1995. I had some of that like tribal operating system stuff going on like back in the mid to late 90s. Like, rah. I was like, that's an operating system, man. Come on, it ain't cold. Calm down. If you'll be burdened, be burdened tossing it all in a bin, dude. Everyone wants to imagine like our friends, family, and relatives are going to take care of all this stuff that we cherish, and they're like, no. It's like, I gotta go throw it all away. They're just going to dump it, dude. Because you get a crappy router strider, it's pretty easy. Ain't got nothing to do with the Raspberry Pi. You got some S-tier router. Not the good type of S tier. The old school S tier. There's your explanation. That kind of amazes me that like home routers are still so atrocious. Like, they're just bad. Like consumer stuff, consumer facing stuff. Like, do you consider Ubiquiti consumer facing stuff? Yeah, that's like the friendliest, like halfway decent hardware I can think of. Yeah, they do suck. A lot of them are still MIPS based, dude. Yeah, that's an S-tier router. I mean, probably for your needs, it does everything you need it to do, but like hardware-wise, it's an S-tier router. It's junk. It's a consumer router. Probably looks like a spaceship, doesn't it? That's always a good sign. You know, if it looks like a jacked up arachnid or a spaceship. Yep, that thing does look like a spaceship. Yeah, yep, I see it. I see it, my man. You wonder why that thing doesn't give you like extreme. Do you not have the RGB on? You got to get the RGB on. Got on the RGB. I got this one, that Nighthawk. I don't use it, but I have it. Yeah, like anything that looks like this type of nonsense is like whatever. I mean, it works. Like, do you need more than 80 megabytes a second? Like, let's get to the real problem here. The answer to that's no, you don't. Do you need 10 gig fiber sitting in a rack in the corner of your room? No, you don't. You don't have a use case. You always say use case. Like, what's your use case for needing more than 80 megabytes a second? Is it megabits, not megabytes? You're talking, man. Get out of here with your rookie numbers. I just looked over our main channel in Discord. With megabits, son. I don't know. Dude, if I could get away with it, if it wasn't for like doing the streams, I would have whatever the most basic, low tier, peasant internet download speed I could get. Like, how much is enough? When did you really feel like the first time you had broadband? Like, real broadband? 120 a Alright. I think like I legitimately felt like I had we'd peaked. It was when I had my first 1 megabit connection. That blew my little mind back in the day. .5 megabits, yeah. Was that first megabit? And I was like, this is impossible. Like, how could I ever? That was one of our things back in the day. We all dreamed about having that. Like, I wasn't even greedy. I didn't want a full T1. I was like, man, if I could just get like a fractional T1, pay for the infrastructure to have that run to the house, it'd be dope. And no. there was a big jump there. I went from like 1 megabit to 20 megabits to 60 megabits. Next thing you know, you got like 675 or like whatever gigabit, 10 gig. Well, you don't have, I don't know. Google and AT&T have 2.5 gig. I think Google's even got like a 5 gigabit in select markets, which are nowhere near my house. But I would be more, I think I would genuinely be content with like 60 megabits down. Like, I'm never in a rush to download anything, you know? It's not like I'm stuck on a bus with Keanu Reeves. There's a modern reference, right? Let's talk about 30-year-old movies. Like, where time's such an issue. Bell has 3 and 8? Ooh. Even if I had the option for 5 gigabit, I got the infrastructure to handle up to 10 here. I probably wouldn't get it. I would pay and be saving money. Like, I would gladly pay like $200 a month for like 100 megabits. Man, I'd pay $200 for like, no, all right, yeah, at least 100 megabits symmetrical. All right.
Sorry, it took me a little bit.
That's all right. We were looking at space routers. We were talking about all the routers looking like spaceships these days. And
oh, yeah.
like, some of them do, some of them don't. Yeah, like home routers. 99% of the use case, it doesn't matter. I mean, you could buy a home router for 10 years ago. Like, 99% of your use cases is going to be taken care of, man.
Yeah.
You don't need anything special. You don't need to have like these crazy, like if you want like the Linux learning experience of routers, buy a MikroTik device. You'll learn stuff. Mm-hmm. You'll have to learn stuff in order to get it working to where you want it. Like there's not an option B. Like if you want the, the Tinker device that will fill weekends upon weekends of learning stuff, I highly recommend MikroTik. If you want, roughly the equivalent hardware, but like 3 times the price, but with a nice Tonka toy interface where you can click on, big school buses and stuff like that. Ubiquity's got you covered there, but they make you pay for it. Oh, MikroTik's old school, hard hitting, like legit. MikroTik makes Cisco killer hardware, dude. Like, they have trouble selling their hardware because it's like 1/12 the price their enterprise stuff. Like people are like, it can't be, and you guys are like, no, it's good. And more importantly, they run Linux. They legitimately run Linux, like straight up.
Yeah, nice.
I was really happy about the new. They've effectively put Pi-hole in the operating system for MikroTik routers in the latest release candidate. I'm like, I want to play around with that because you might have a Pi-hole sitting around in your house, knobbing up all the ads, pulling in those DNSs and like taking it away.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just got like a little thing where you just feed the list URLs and it's like, I got it. I'll take care of it.
It's nice. It's built right in.
Yeah. MikroTik's in your data centers. Yeah. You can save money. I haven't had a problem with it, dude. I had this 4011, which is, I respect MikroTik on an engineering level. The two, how many MikroTik? Yeah, I probably got 4 MikroTik big boy devices. But the 4011 is like how do we cool this thing? It's this quad core ARM with a gig of RAM and it's in this tiny package. Did we put a fan in it? How do we take care of this? They made the entire shell like super thick, chonky metal, and it's just one giant heatsink. Well, the entire block gets hot, but it stays cool. And with this fanless fiber switch, this 8-port fiber switch I have, like, how do we cool this thing? Are we going to put fans in it? No. Like, let's put a heatsink on it. And they're like, but it won't work. And it's like, hang it off the back. How big does it be? Ginormous. That thing has 2 of the largest heat pipes I've ever seen in my life running off the chip. It is just get it done design, and you can cut yourself on those heatsink fins, and they're not even. And I was like, I respect that. All right, got about 2 minutes, so 24 port HAP, nice. Yeah, I got the I got the 4011, and I got the CRS, blah, 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 whatever, the fiber switch, and I got the Cap AC3 access point here in the studio because I wanted to learn how to set that nonsense up. That was another weekend project. But it's really cool once you have it set up because you realize like, oh, this is designed for deploying in a company. But like once you get all the base stuff set up, you just plug them in and they auto configured and like set themselves up. It's pretty dope. And I got that switch. I got like that 24 port 1 gig switch, 210 gig on it, which is good. And I got the 3011 with the LCD on it sitting around. And if Canada wasn't so crazy with import tax, Jordan would have a lot of this stuff. But I can't send it to him because by the time I send it to him, it ends up costing more than it would him to just turn around and buy it.
Him buying it, yeah.
Which is frustrating.
I know, it's so annoying.
All right, I'll be back in a minute and we'll get a show on the way, Joe.
Okay. Yeah, Earth Aaron, I have a MikroTik switch too, but I haven't honestly used it since I had cable because now that I have fiber, gigabit, actually it's a little bit faster than gigabit, but I have the business plan and they gave me the modem with a 10 port switch on it. So yeah, I haven't needed it, but I love the MikroTik devices. Oh, okay. Mira just got the ubiquity switch. Oh, nice, Strider. You're playing Portal on your Raspberry Pi. That makes me happy. Cool. You got it working good. Yay. That's awesome. Trying to guess what level that is, Strider. I played the game so many times. Okay. Yeah, that's so exciting. I can't wait to do that on my Raspberry Pi 5. Yeah, that's the keyboard I got Matthew years ago. I always like the blue LED lights on that one. Do, do, do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did. Mira, I did put that on one of mine. Mm-hmm. One of my Ajaz keyboards. I have so many different Ajaz keyboards. Yeah, QMK is really nice. I think that keyboard, did I get it to work with Open RGB? I think I did. Yeah. I've just been so happy with how Open RGB works with so many things now. Every one of my new builds I've made, all the LEDs are controllable through Open RGB. One time I had installed the experimental version, but it gets stuff working. It's awesome.
Oh man, OpenRGB doesn't work with my keyboard, Joe.
Oh, well, you don't have lights on your keyboard.
I mean, there's that, but
yeah,
I can't even pretend. Maybe I need to open an issue on the GitHub and be like, does not work with my Microsoft whatever.
Well, that's too bad, Mir. Have you tried the other, like, the experimental version? Did they fix stuff in there? Or you can just install an older version. There is that.
Where is this guy? Oh. Ah, all right. Cool. All right, everybody. We got good. Let's check our alignment. There's our two-way split. Looking good. Get out of me.
Nice strider.
Get out of that. How's your bit rate looking? Looking okay. All right. Got a browser. Cool. All right.
That's good, Steve husband.
All right. Let's bounce over here. The big red button. Big red button engaged.
Okay.
And showtime, everybody. Hey everyone, welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux and open source. I'm Ben Stone, joined every week by Jill Bryant. We're just talking to the pre-show about a couple things. You get a chance to come check us out live here on Twitch. We're like, hey, when was the first time you really got real band, broadband, like a full megabit? Ooh, things like that. But we got a pretty big show for you this week. We're going to be talking about the NVIDIA drivers that are here. They've been foretold. Our savior. I got a K-Disk Mark thing. We're going to pretend we're Windows users in a little bit. Jill's going to tell you about an M.2 hat. And of course, llamas.
Llamas going open source.
But did everybody see the news? I've been, a lot of it's the itch. Every couple of years, you just get that itch to build a new PC, right? Whether or not you really, really need it. You're just like, man, I want to build a new PC. I've been looking for an excuse to upgrade the system in the studio, Threadripper, which is Gen 1 Threadripper, but it still gets the job done. That's the biggest problem with it. It still gets the job done.
Yeah.
I'm like, curse you. Why do you keep working? Which, goes to the testament. How long have PCs been good enough, right?
Yeah.
Right. And when I say gets the job done, runs the show. It's the nerve center for the studio. And I've been exploring different options. I'm like, maybe I'll go Epic, or maybe I can upgrade this to like a Gen 2 Threadripper and still get, maybe get another year or two out of it. And then there were leaks and rumors about AMD releasing Epic CPUs on socket AM5. Their current socket. I'm like, well then, I guess we're just going to quit. We're just going to put the brakes on. We're just going to wait and see what happens here, because I might just be able to get out of this on the cheap, kids. We got the news about them yesterday.
Yeah, and they have lots of PCIe lanes, which made Ben very happy. I saw your tweet.
That was me complaining about them not having a lot of PCI Express lanes.
Oh, I thought it was reverse. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, they have 28 PCI Express lanes.
Oh, okay.
The Epic 4004 CPUs. The only thing I was interested in, how many do I have right now? I got, 64. How many do all of them? I use every single one of them. Why? Multiple capture cards.
Okay. Yeah. It has fewer. That's sad.
Epic has 128. Threadripper Pro, 128. Threadripper, 64. Intel Xeons at least have 40. I'm like, I wasn't even looking for 60. I was like 40 something, and I'll be good. Mm-hmm. I can make that work. Like, I'm willing to move stuff around here. I'm like, if I can save a few bucks, make a modern system. AMD's like, nah, best we can do. 28. That's all you get. I'm like, well, all right, back to searching. Back to searching.
Yeah.
Little doubt about that. A little grumpy about that. I'm like, grr. But hey, I'm sure there's a use case for an Epic CPU with 28 lanes of I don't know, man. Good luck. Good luck. How about you, Joe Bryant? You've finally had the belated birthday Disneyland trip.
Finally, we've been trying for the last few weeks, but we've been just so busy with doing family things like graduations and all kinds of things going on. So, but I had a great time with my Steve husband at Disneyland on Sunday to celebrate my birthday. And what was really, really cool, it was a very special day for me. The nice cast members, when they saw my Disneyland birthday button that I wore proudly on my shirt, they let me and Steve ride one of my favorite roller coasters 2 times in a row, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And since there was an hour wait for it, that was pretty nice. So I got to just hop off, and they said, "Oh, take this empty seat and hop on and go through one of my favorite themed rides and roller coasters and travel through Bryce Canyon with Big Thunder Mountain Railroad." And I have a cool retro Tomorrowland shirt that I'm wearing right now that Steve got me as a present on our Disneyland trip, and I love it. It's so cool and Tomorrowland retro. And I got these socks too. They're so cute. Matching socks for my outfit. So the next time I go to Disneyland, I'll be wearing these. And that's the classic people mover.
Those are brilliant. Those will match Steve's walker.
Yeah. Well, he probably will have an orange walker, I'm sure, because that's one of our favorite colors.
Gotta get him the orange tennis balls to go on it.
Yeah. And, he got me a few other shirts, too. I got 2 other Disneyland shirts, and then he got himself one as well, and a model of Space Mountain. So Disneyland just put out an official model kit for Space Mountain, and he
all right,
yeah.
Sounds like a good time.
It was.
Let's go ahead and hop into it with a little bit of a blast from the past. Something that when I first saw the news, I saw the press release. I'm like, where was this? Like 26 years ago, right?
Yeah, so true. So, remember Winamp? Yes, the beloved media player that came out in April in 1997 on Windows. And I'm going to say it has a very popular saying, but I can't completely say it here on the show. I better not say it. Okay. Winamp whips the llama's bottom. Let's say that. Is that good, Ben? So, the Llama Group actually announced it will be open sourcing Winamp on September 24th due to budget constraints and company reorganization. So, it's kind of sad because it sounds like they wouldn't have open sourced it if it weren't for them having problems in the company. But this is a wonderful thing. And Alexandra Sabandjian, I don't think I'm pronouncing that right. Anyways, you can check the show notes for the correct spelling and name. He's the CEO of Winamp, talks about what they will be focusing on in the future. So he says, this is a decision that will delight millions of users around the world. Yay, like us Linux users. Our focus will be on new mobile players and other platforms. We will be releasing a new mobile player at the beginning of July. Still, we don't want to forget the tens of millions of users who use the software on Windows and will benefit from the thousands of developers' experience and creativity. And that is true. And I'm very happy that they are seeing the benefit of open sourcing Winamp. But, I was thinking then, but now that Winamp is being open sourced, not only is it possible that we can have our own Winamp player for Linux, but we can see that code integrated into many audio players on Linux, including XMMS and Audacious, and they can have all the Winamp functionality and support all of its audio and visual plugins, which I would be very excited about.
Well, we don't really know because they didn't mention what type of license they're going to release this under.
And that we don't know.
I've already seen in chat, we already get the actually like, yeah, open source, like, yeah, source available, whatever. If you know what people mean, like, there's a reason people don't invite some people to parties. But yeah, in the spirit of that, like what really went down here, man? Like there weren't a lot of people hanging out in the developing Winamp. You remember Winamp from way back when, right? That was the thing.
Yeah.
It was the gem. Then Winamp 3, it just went downhill from there. Winamp 3 was bad. Nobody liked it. They tried to do a rewrite. They changed the language for it, and it broke a lot of compatibility. And like Winamp's just a relic from the past. Like if you're over the age of under the age of like 30, you're like, what is a Winamp? Maybe a meme has existed at some point in time. But as you might imagine, not a lot of people are left working on a media player, an MP3 media player. Like visualizers were cool. And like even back in the day, we had XMMS and things of the like, the Winamp clones. So it's just kind of been sitting there not doing anything. What this is really going to allow, we got to find out what license they end up releasing the code on, but one way or the other, what this will allow, no matter what, is the ability for the community to take over maintenance.
Yeah.
No, that's something you're going to be seeing. Yeah, this is like 20 years too late for it like to really matter. It is, but it's really nice to see. And
it is. I know a lot of the young people today don't even know what Winamp is.
Just a curiosity. It's not a huge. I mean, for us, our old timers were like, "Hey, this is kind of cool," and like they avoided using the term open source in the press announcement, and people are already reading into that. And I'm like, just sit back and wait and see what happens. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? Try that on instead of sitting around spinning your wheels speculating like, oh, I'm going to read into them. Like, just see what happens, because it doesn't matter one way or the other. This is just a morbid curiosity. There's nothing to be learned here. This is just fun. Have some fun. Lighten up.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of like Ven was saying, a new media player on the desktop may not be the most exciting, for some people. When was the last time
you used a dedicated media player on your desktop?
But this one, you would be able to create your own skins and themes if we get the code on Linux. So that's nice. And visualization, which is one of my favorite things about Winamp.
Just archaeology, like looking at and see what happens. Like I use Audacious. Why do I use Audacious? Like I'll go ahead and tell you right now, I have zero interest in this because there's exactly 2 media players that I can use in the studio. And they're the only 2 I care about because they support Jack. And I know somebody's going to say, what about VLC? VLC doesn't support Jack in a way that's usable because every time it changes a song, it destroys the Jack syncs. They're not persistent. Makes it completely unusable for my situation. Audacious, brilliant. Love it. That's what you should be using. Yeah. And if you're pressed for it, also player, which still technically works, but you want to talk about using something, a blast from the past, go play around with that. It's good to see. I'm not going to fall into the old trap. It's real easy to get into the trap of not good enough, isn't it? Like they're doing something, they're releasing it. You get to look at it. Like, do you really need your first reaction to run up like, well, that's not good enough? I'm like, don't you get tired of being mad on the internet every day? Come on. Lighten up, people. That's me telling you this.
I never get mad on the internet.
I'm just saying, man, that's some people's entire identity, and I'm watching it get worse and worse and worse with people, and I'm like, you have to just take time to smile, man. Like, look at this, but like, oh, that'd be cool to play around with. Calm down with the not good enough, man.
Yes, so true.
However,
something really exciting.
Screw this next company. I hate them. Oh, so mad. So angry. We're talking about NVIDIA. NVIDIA drivers, this is the promised driver. This is 55542. The internet was very hopeful about what this was going to bring. Now, I want you to gather around because we actually need to celebrate NVIDIA doing it good. This is ready for testing, and it's going to make some of you extraordinarily happy. The rest of you, the 20% of you with AMD cards, you're like, rawr. I'm like, that's cool too. We can still hang out. 555 comes with the explicit sync for the Wayland crowd.
Woo-hoo!
That's going to sort your freezes, all your jitters, all the other stuff. It's just magic. It's, kind of cool. On top of that, I posted some screenshots yesterday.
Yeah.
And on the social medias and our super secret Discord. It's using the GSP firmware by default if available, which is the open source firmware. Yeah,
that was really cool to see it that early because they kept saying that it's going to come in their NVIDIA R560 drivers, but it showed up a little earlier, so that was cool.
Right, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's like right there in your face, and the first thing you see when you build the driver, because over here on Debian 12, what did I do yesterday? I'm like, hey, let's upgrade the driver to that on Debian 12, that old distribution. Right out of the gate, it gives you an option to install the MIT GPL kernel modules or the proprietary ones. That's your first option in the installer. I'm like, well, let's try the GPL ones, which is going to make life easier if you're familiar with that. Like if you're running like a bleeding edge kernel, you probably don't have to wait for that support to get added. into it for it to be able to build against it, which is I was really happy to see that. And support for using EGL instead of GLX for the NVIDIA frame buffer capture. This is exciting for like six of us on the internet because there's an OBS plugin to take care of that. You got to patch the driver because this is something only available in like Quadros, whatever they're called these days, but it's real easy to patch that functionality into the regular peasant drivers that the rest of us get to use. That gives us a pretty much tax-free full screen capture in OBS without like hitting our system resources.
So much better.
Super cool. And by all accounts on the internet, all the Wayland stuff is just fixed. Even the artist formerly known as Empty in Shot Realm Dynamic in our Discord was talking about being able to play Fallout with his NVIDIA card on Wayland. And he's like, hey, it just works now. Like Fallout 3 or whatever. Yeah, right. A lot of people are just saying, hey, everything just works. Plenty of other fixes in the release. But those are the ones I'm very excited about. And maybe, I know a big question. Like, well, when is this coming to insert your distribution here? Why wait? Why wait? When is this coming to Debian 12? Never. It will never come to Debian 12 at all because it's Debian 12. Like, it's never going to happen. The version after this might be in Debian 13 a year from now.
Yeah.
What do? You install drivers. You install the run files. The booga about the deterioration of the knowledge base of. Yeah, I've seen this. People are asking about this on the internet, and I started to think about getting involved when they say, don't install the run file. It's horrible. That's the worst way to do it. It'll destroy your system. Like, been doing that for 20 years with NVIDIA drivers. It's never destroyed a single system in the history of ever. If you know, like, just the basics of what you need to do here. Like, how the mighty have fallen. Come on.
Yes.
I want this to encourage some of you to go, I want to play with this. I want to play around with Wayland. I want to get it working. To look up the steps to get this installed on your system. You know what? Maybe you'll hose your system. More likely, you won't. Actually, I had somebody they recovered. I was reading a reply to one of the articles I'd written for Interfacing Linux about setting up NVIDIA drivers with a real-time kernel. And somebody kind of hosed their system, but like I read through it and I'm like, well, of course you did. You disabled Nuvo and you didn't install the NVIDIA drivers and you rebooted.
Yeah.
What do you expect to happen there?
Yeah.
I mean, like logically, like read through what you just wrote out. And you're like, you removed the video driver completely and didn't replace it and you reboot it. I mean, it's still, SSH2TTY and you're good. Yeah. So
that's what they teach you when you're on Windows is to delete the old driver and reboot, but it doesn't work.
I have no idea. It's like you wrote your evidence out there. Follow your own thought, and like once you get that down, it's good. But yeah, good times for everybody. I have zero time for I use anything. I use I got AMD, I got NVIDIA, I got Intel. I even got an Intel GPU. Joel's got an Intel GPU too.
Yeah, I'm using one right now.
Just have good. You just want Linux support across the board. Most people have NVIDIA cards. I know it's real easy to get caught up in the little like Lemmy sphere or the Reddit sphere and think everybody has AMD. They don't. You're a fraction of a percent. Linux being able to work out of the box for everybody's PC is nothing but good for Linux. Oh, calm down. That's all I got. NVIDIA, you did a good.
You did a good.
There you go. I don't really know where we can go, like not good enough. I think this is good enough, and no more roadblocks for your Wayland stuff. And here's what's going to be kind of the big problem, though, Joe.
What?
Oh boy, nobody's going to like this.
Uh-oh.
I fear we're going to find out that it wasn't NVIDIA holding back Wayland.
Oh.
Don't tell anybody, though.
Okay.
Because you know what? I want to be wrong about that. I just got a feeling. What do you think about this? Are you excited? Can we still get excited about NVIDIA driving? Like, listen, man, come on.
Awesome.
Look, Linus is very excited right now.
Yeah, he is. He won't have to do that anymore, at least as of this year. Because, NVIDIA is giving Linux so much love now. Finally, it's taken a long time. And I'm really excited, Ben, about the cool things that are coming along the pipeline with the open source bits on the NVIDIA R560 series Linux drivers in the Linux kernel, that is the driver where they're going to make the open source bits default. So, but it's nice that you can still play with them right now.
Then, though, you guys better start researching something new to get angry about, because like you're gonna be struggling. Now we can be angry at the price, but we can be angry at AMD for the prices of GPUs too, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Both of them. Yeah.
Ugh. Something I ran across. Yeah, so it's KDE dependencies. Yeah, everything should just work, right?
Yeah.
GNOME, KDE.
No. Yes. This one does, though, but I'll let you tell them about that.
I don't know, man. Let us know. Leave me a comment if you are trying these drivers. I'm not even looking at Wayland until XFCE is up on Wayland. So I'll see you guys in about 12, possibly 11 years if we're lucky. I ran across working on the video for Elite Desk, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
a little tiny PC. And you need to benchmark the drive speed. I thought that was a metric I needed to include. What do you normally do? Traditionally, you want to measure disk speed in Linux. What do you break out HD per M, right?
Yeah. HD per M.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have the moon glyphs memorized. I was like HD per M, benchmark, read, right? And I Google it and I'm like, right, punch that in, and we get the numbers. Or option B, at least for me, is you break out GNOME disk. Because there's a benchmark utility in GNOME disk. I love GNOME disk. It's a slick piece of software. I give GNOME a lot of static, but I love a lot of GNOME software, and I use it day in and day out. And, that's very usable once you figure out some realistic digits to punch in for the benchmark. But what if you want that simple one-click goodness,
Yeah.
And I was like, how do I convey this in a YouTube video that I know people who are not tied into Linux, they don't want to watch a bunch of nerd numbers in a terminal. They don't understand that. And I was like, well, I could put like blinky lights or something around the terminal, like, and jiggle some keys or something. Maybe it'll keep them entertained. I don't know. I needed something, a tool that could output the data bits in a way that a Windows user would be familiar and comfortable with. It wouldn't spook them, wouldn't scare them. So I ran across this. This is KDisk Mark. You might already know about that. I didn't know about that. I've never looked for like a GUI tool to do this, but upon my search, that looks familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That looks like, I think it's Crystal Disk Mark on Windows.
Yeah, Crystal Disk Mark is the Windows equivalent. Yeah.
Almost a 1-to-1. And, if you've been looking for something like this might be this thing is like, it's even in the Debian repository, so it's clearly been out for a minute. And it even works on mounted drives without having to like do any additional fuss, like creating an image file to do that. Plenty of synthetic tests to choose from. And yeah, it works. It works. It'll be in the video for the Elite Desk that I'm working on. I'm like, there you go. I think anybody can look at that, your sequential reads, writes, 4K randoms, and a bunch of other tests. But, most people just care about the reads and writes. I don't even think I want to pretend people care about the random. They don't. They just want to see big number go burr, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. There'll be linked to everything in the show notes. If you don't know about it, that's probably available on every distribution. It was new to me, so I thought at least I would share it, and maybe it can be new to somebody else.
Yeah, it's a really great tool. I'm glad you put it in the show notes, Vin, because I had ran across it in FlatHub years ago. It's like 2020 or something like that, and ran some tests using it. And I like that it doesn't install the KDE dependencies, which we hinted at before we started the story, like the name might imply, because it's got a K in front of it, right? So you think it comes with all the downloads, all the KDE
Qt.
Plasma.
It just needs Qt. That's it.
So it is very small and compact and easily installable on any window manager and on any distribution.
Why
And
did
on
you download the
FlatHub and Snap.
And Snap.
Yeah.
It's on Arch. Of course it's on Arch. It's on Fedora. It's on SUSE. Like I said, my litmus test for like something availability, I'll do app search on Debian Stable. And I'm like, if it's there, it's everywhere, man. Because it's a struggle to get in to Debian. All right. Good news, everybody. The thing that has been out for a little bit is out, but it's for realsies though, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So have you been patiently waiting, like myself, to use a speedy NVMe drive with your Raspberry Pi 5 and you've been waiting on that official release? Well, your wait is over and the highly anticipated official Raspberry Pi 5 M.2 Hat Plus is now available. And the Raspberry Pi 5 M2 Hat Plus will let you connect an NVMe M.2 SSD drive or an AI accelerator to your Raspberry Pi 5's PCIe 2.0 interface. And the hat supports up to 500 megabytes per second, both read and write, and is available for only $12. I was really impressed. I thought for sure, it'd probably be $20-30. No, it's only $12. And here's actually something really wonderful that Raspberry Pi states on their blog. If your Raspberry Pi 5 has up-to-date firmware and an M.2 Hat Plus attached, an installed PCIe device will be probed at power on, and if it's an NVMe drive, it will be available as a boot device. Yay! As a boot source, they said. So I was happy about this because you remember in the kind of the old days of the Raspberry Pi where it was hard to get certain items to boot on it, like USB drives and whatnot.
Girlfriend, I spent an entire live stream trying to get the USB drive to boot on this Pi 4, man.
Yeah,
it wasn't having it. I finally got it up and working.
Yeah. So this is just really exciting news. And I checked over at UNCUT. You can buy the Raspberry Pi 5 M.2 Hat Plus for $12, or included with a 512 gigabyte NVMe SSD for $79.95, or 1 terabyte NVMe SSD for $119.95. So yeah, that's pretty sweet. I like it when they do the kits. And UNCUT, of course, would be the first to sell a kit.
I mean, in 2024, you got to think about it. I mean, that's probably the best looking $12 hat that you can buy new.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about just like Raspberry Pi hats. I mean, top hat, baseball hat, Pi hat, probably the best looking hat that you can get for $12 in 2024.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't even get a baseball hat for $12.
No.
They're all like $20. Yeah, at Disneyland, they're $35.
Right?
Yeah.
I've already seen some comments in chat. Yeah, you got to get a Pi 5, Pi availability, and they're a little expensive and all that. Now, this does connect over that funky little derpy ribbon connector thingy that I'm not a fan of, which by default runs at PCI Express 2.0, but you can clock it up to 3. It's just not officially supported. But that's still only going to get you like a 500 megabyte a second peak transfer rate. And it'll take the 2230s and the 2242 M.2s for your links. 3 amps connected to the M.2 device for your power, so it should be enough. It is compatible with the active cooler.
Yay!
Which you need on a Raspberry Pi. I've seen people as Raspberry Pi subreddit's weird, man. Go on. Like, you don't need an active cooler for Raspberry Pi. Do you know what we call people who say that online?
Oh.
Liars, Jill.
Oh, okay.
That's the word we use for it, but it's a little secret word that we have between, anybody with a brain, a functioning nervous system, and some gray matter stuck in their head. So, yeah, you do need an active cooler for Raspberry Pi 5 unless you want to run it in slow forever mode, because it immediately thermal throttles.
Yeah.
Schematics are available, though. So if you want to build your own, like, good on the Raspberry Pi Foundation for putting that out. Reasonably priced. You can take a look, see how it ticks if you want to, like, extrapolate the design, do something new with it. But, yeah, what are you saying? Like, you can get an NVMe drive with a hat for about $100.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
That's incredible, actually. And actually, the markup over at UNCUT is not, it's very little. It's like at the actual price, a 1 terabyte is usually between $80 and $100. Anyways, so.
I got a, what was it, 256 gig NVMe Samsung connected to a hat, and it came up with a Ryzen 2400G CPU and 8 gigs of RAM for less than that.
Mm-hmm.
Something to think about, kids.
Yeah. Yeah, an HP Elite Desk. They're
Something
awesome.
to think about. For the price of a hat and an SSD, you can get an entire system. Oh, 500? No. This is 1.5 gigabytes a second, read and write.
Yeah, it's amazing. I have one coming then.
Good.
Yay! It was another birthday gift I got for myself is the HP Elite Desk.
I'm telling you guys, these things are in the market right now. This is the video I'm working on. I'm very excited about it. This is the Raspberry Pi killer for some people.
Yeah, full Ryzen.
Hear me out.
Compete with that.
No, for some people though, if you are like me, what are you looking for? What do we want? We want that chunky Raspberry Pi, that chunky Orange Pi, that like 32 gig, 16 gig, big, beefy, crazy one. That market's gone with these.
Yeah. My Steve has been in chat, said she bought what? Well, he knew about this. I told him I bought the little mini computer. Yeah, he's like, do you need another computer? Because I have over 700 in my collection.
You're like,
but I needed
Steve,
that for that price? Oh my gosh.
I have a medical condition.
Yeah, I do. And actually, Ven, you know what was awesome? I got it for $75 with 16 gigs of RAM. Nice. That was nice from a buyer that I buy a lot of computers from. So I got a discount.
So I will, everybody stay tuned, interfacinglinux.com, because one of the things I'm going to be, no matter how much you paid for one, the one you get in the mail, that's your starter kit. I got a list of things for you to do before you use it that you're going to want to read. Just trust me on this. Why? I've had one for 3 weeks. And what do I, because I use stuff and I test stuff before I tell you. You know, I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not going to spend a weekend with it and be like, hey, fam, smash that bell. Let me tell you, this is the best thing ever. Go buy it with my affiliate link. No, it's not how old man Vin does stuff. So stay tuned. Part numbers, all the stuff that you're going to need to make it an even better PC. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap us up for this week's Weekly Daily Wednesdays. If you like what we do, you want to help us out, we'd really appreciate it. Become one of our patrons, patreon.com/Linux Gamecast. That's how we finance all this stuff. That's how we stick it together. We do the shows live on Wednesday. We do Linux Gamecast weekly on Saturday. Jordan's going to be doing a stream tomorrow. Outer Worlds is what he's currently working on. If you want to come chat with him, one of our co-hosts. And of course, we got our Track Mania that goes on Tuesdays and Fridays. If you want to play an 11-year-old physics platforming game and chat with us in Discord. Speaking of Discord, if you are a Twitch sub or patron, link that up. You can come hang out in our super secret Discord where this conversation takes place the other 6 days of the week. Love to see you there, along with just a gang of bonus stuff, plus your name and credits. If you want to come do it. All right. Are we good? We did the shilling. We did the plug-in. We'll see you next time. Until then, let's bring up some music.
Yay!
And roll them credits.
And give our patrons some love. Our advisors, Omegas, Artherin, our executive producers, Barbrandt, Sconim, Atomic, Drummer, Eshep, Ian, our Chicago Kicks, Level, Empty, Blasphemia, King Bonge, our Sea Monsters, Truggy, Vera, Tenuta, Diaz and Jijo, Dirty Dean, our Death Notes, Turnover, Ogiwan, M. Foxton, Swine, Piper, our Chairlings, Mir, Bike Me, Steve. Yeah, our Chairlings text is too small for me to read.
I did want to give thanks to Don and Era Ixa. The 42 and 24 month resub. All right, everybody, get out there, get up to something malicious and Linux related, open source related. You know what? Source available. Did you get up to something source available related? That'll irritate the wrong people. And we'll see you again next week. All right?
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Now we press the big red button again. Boop. All right, things are saved. It's not even a big red button. This is a regular size red button.
Yeah, I picked up one of the Elite Desks about 2 days ago, so I should be getting it anytime. I'm excited.
Good. I got one part absolutely you need. Here's a spoiler for everybody watching this live. A couple of things you're going to want to do to these. Step one, you're going to want to repaste them.
Oh, yeah. That's something I always do anyways, just out of habit.
Do it. Like, these things are only 4 years old. These are not old, like 4 years. But they are the very definition of a thermal note box. They're 1 meter. 1 liter with a full size Ryzen 5 2400G in them. That's not a laptop CPU. I was expecting laptop. No, it's got an integrated heat spreader. It's just the chip, man. Socket AM4 sitting in there.
Yeah.
Repaste it because that stuff
Do
was
that.
a
In
brick.
any computer you get that's especially used.
And if you're going to, I say repaste, what you should do is put a thermal pad in there, especially an application like this. This is, things like this are designed for thermal pads. Another thing that you absolutely need to do is already order a new fan for it. Like maybe, I don't know, like if you plan on using it for like 10 minutes and putting it like in your garage, like I wouldn't bother with it.
Good
But
idea.
like if you plan on using it like for an application, used to be in the old HP Elite desk, the fans would spin down when they were not in use.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore.
I was reading
that fan
about that.
runs 24/7 now.
Oh, wow.
So that means they wear out. And 4 years of something, if you get one that's just been on this entire time, or it's been on half of this entire time, it's going to be grindy. And when those fans go out, they get loud. Like they don't stop spinning. They just start going rah, rah, and it's like, oh my God,
Those
you want to
little
have a spare
shouty
fan.
things.
Right. And there's a couple other things. I'm not going to spoil everything for you, but I got a checklist of things. We got Linux on it. I test, find out what works, what doesn't. And
Yay.
it's going to be a good time. It's going to be very educational.
I'm
and it
looking
fits
forward
my,
to some of your tips, Finn.
It fits my pick any two, right? You got the three things. We got three things. What do you want in like a little tiny computer? You want it to be fast? You want it to be cheap? What else do we want?
Fast, cheap. It's nice that it's small. It's nice that it's small, mini. You can put behind a monitor on a VESA port.
You need small, fast, or cheap. You can pick any two. Because you look at an Intel NUC, it's nice and small.
Reliable.
It's really fast. But a NUC ain't cheap. NUCs are expensive.
Yeah.
You got a Raspberry Pi, it's nice and small. It's relatively cheap, but it ain't fast. This kind of ticks all the boxes.
It does. Under $100. Even I have the Dell Optiplex 5055s. I've got two of those Ryzen machines, but those were and still are. Usually you find them for around $200. But this is only $100.
This is a modern 2400G processor, like 4-core, 8-thread, 9. It's just full on like it plays Trackmania, kids.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I can't wait because I have other machines with the same chipset in it, and I'm like, I'm looking forward to doing some more game testing on this little guy.
I got all the benchmarks.
Yeah,
I tried some real world games in it. I tortured it for everybody. I was like, what would be silly to try to run on this? And I loved it. That's the only type of gaming benchmarks I'm interested in doing, like I did with the Intel Arc, just so nobody can argue with me. I'm like, of course that wouldn't run. I'm like, I know. Like, let's just celebrate that it does run. Yeah. Yeah, I've always liked the Intel NUCs, but the Intel NUCs have been priced out of what I'm willing to pay for a tiny PC.
Yeah. Especially with so many options out there now.
Yeah. Like, and then again, like, for like $99, you can get, because there's a ton of like those little B mini PCs.
Yeah, the
but
Bs
like,
are good too.
But they have an N100 in them. Like, this thing's got a Ryzen 5 in it.
Yeah, with the Elite decks, you get I do have a Ryzen 7 in one of my HPs, and it was the Pro version. It's pretty sweet too. But again, that was around $200.
Yeah.
And then Lenovo has their ThinkCenter line.
They do.
The little mini PCs also, but they're more expensive as well.
These are
so
the value.
There's nothing as cheap.
4 years ago,
system.
this little box was $700. Like less than 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know why there's so many on the market right now. For this price, I'm just saying, if you've been in the market, like once these are gone, they're gonna be gone. Oh.
Yeah, I guess companies, they're just use them for a year, 6 months to a year, and then upgrade them, and then just put them out.
They went through a 4-year life cycle. Like,
yeah,
they're out there, man. Like, this is you don't see floods like this. We had a flood with a 10 gig NICs several years ago with the Mellanox Connect X2 for people. If you do home lab stuff, you know about that time where you can get the 10 gig fiber cards for like $40-50, and they were everywhere. Those dried up. These will dry up, but like right now, you can find these on eBay, Amazon, multiple vendors. If you've been thinking about having something like this, and we're like, you get this, like I got a 200 gig Samsung SSD, 8 gigs of RAM, got the power supply for it, and shipped for $120.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I got mine for 75. No, it was just at the right time. The seller had give me an offer, so I did, and I think because I was a constant customer, I got it for $75 instead of $100.
Oh no, that's good. I hope you get everything. I hope you get a good NVMe drive in it. I hope you get good RAM in it.
Working. Yeah. I will be testing it.
What's the option on fanless? What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, Arthur. So the Dell Mini Optiplexes, but you usually can't find the Ryzen ones for that price. You can get a lot of the Intel ones, the 6th and 8th gen, but usually not a Ryzen. Ryzen ones are always more expensive. But I have a couple other Dell Optiplexes. Actually, I have 2 right now I'm working on, one for a friend, a 6th gen and an 8th gen. Mm-hmm.
If you want to go fanless with the Elite Desk, it's pretty simple to do.
Yeah, I was going to say, put a huge heatsink on it, and there it is.
You just, you get the Noctua NHP1 adapter and a Dremel and some zip ties. Like this guy did. Hold it down with some wire. It works. I mean, of course, it's a 65-watt part. And, I say this as somebody with one. I have that cooler and jack box right now on a 65-watt part at 5600G. Keeps it nice and cool. I say that. Let's see what the temperature is.
Yeah, because I wanted to do gaming. I got the G version, but they do have the GE, the 35-watt one. I was interested in playing around with that one, too.
Well, mine is the GE.
I thought so. I thought you had the GE.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have GE. I got the G for testing out gaming and Blender and such.
It's rounding error. Like, the difference between performance is not really measurable. Like, there's not even a point for like one being faster than the other. It's just the G is just lower power.
More efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Copper pipes for what?
Oh, okay. Nice, Justin. Yeah.
Yeah, they get the job done. Like, it's just a full-on desktop part, and I will probably end up watch the video because there might be another video about this. I haven't made up my mind about it yet. But barring that, this will probably become the new Jitsi server.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Awesome.
Because one of the things I can't do with the Jitsi server is it does not want to do VP9 on the Raspberry Pi. That's something I'm going to be talking about in the video, and I'll be documenting the advantages this has over, because I love playing around. Dude, I set up Jitsi on a Raspberry Pi. Come on. I love playing around with this stuff. But sometimes I just need stuff to work, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to spend a weekend tinkering with it and get it to it almost works, but like I said, I never could get VP9 to work with Jitsi on the Raspberry Pi for the encoding for the video. I know I don't have to worry about that with this because it's just x86. This is just a PC. Yep. There you go. You get one for 75 too, Justin.
Yeah, 12 gig one. Okay.
Get them while they're hot.
Yeah. Awesome.
I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but like they're 100% like Debian just works on them. There's no
nice.
Nothing to it. Like everything works on them.
Yeah, it's an HP, so.
And I'm including the built-in Wi-Fi. Like,
yeah, it's got a nice Wi-Fi antenna on it. Got that little chunky thing on the back.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Why did they route it over there? Because the antenna's over here. I mean, the card's over here.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw a schematic and it said that was actually the Wi-Fi antenna.
I believe it. I never looked. All I know about the Wi-Fi is I saw it pop up and ask me if I wanted to use it during the installer of Debian.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
nice.
look at that. Look at that. You could even install this without plugging in the Ethernoodle. And I was like, well, good on you. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the bigger cousin.
Well, here's the spoiler about the Elite Desk. It's also GPU capable.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Not going to tell you about it. I mean, I might eventually when you're older. An i7-77, that's good too, dude.
Yeah.
It does get loud at full tilt though. But it's that whooshy loud.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I put a brand new OEM fan on it.
It's a loud hum.
That's the loud.
Yeah.
It's the sound of air.
Yeah.
Media server? Well, yeah. I mean, it's got Vega 7 graphics on it. It can do hardware accelerated. That's in the video too. We tested that. I.
Yes.
The Royal Ven. I don't know if this thing's got an IR thing on the front. It might. It very well might. I don't know. Possibly.
Yeah, Justin, send one over to Arthurian. Although he'll pay more for shipping. You'll pay more for shipping than if you bought one.
What was it? Are these things out yet? I kind of want one of these. This is the
dev yeah. Kit okay.
For that psychotic Snapdragon X Elite.
Like, yeah.
I want one.
I just saw the new laptops that are available.
This is $899 for the dev kit. Put some Linux on it. Actually, yeah, you could just go download the Debian ISO from Qualcomm and install it. Mm-hmm. The one we talked about, I think, last week.
Yeah, we did. I was saying we just talked about that.
That's the future, eventually. We're gonna. I posted this in Discord last night. I ran across a site that they've already set up a site. Somebody enterprising lad is got the equivalent of ProtonDB, but for because the Qualcomm, they're going to be using a translation layer for x86 to ARM for Windows, and like this is like joint developed between Qualcomm and Microsoft. And they have a game site testing game compatibility, like what games work, what games don't. Like it's like their own little. It's adorable.
Yeah.
What it is. Yeah, Big ARM's going to be gotta be a thing, man. Like it's taken a little bit longer. I knew it was coming. We all have to wait for Apple to make the thing popular. Then everybody else who could have done it goes, okay, I guess we'll do it.
Oh, Strider, that's what you're testing the portal on your Raspberry Pi, the Box 64. Nice. I'm looking forward to seeing all the games you get running on it.
You couldn't figure out how to get Fex up and running?
Oh, still no DXVK. K. Still no DXVK. K. Okay.
DixVix.
Yeah, DixVix. That's easier.
It's like DivX with more VivX.
Yeah. Oh, but it says it should work. Okay.
Oh.
Huh.
I don't know. Like I said on Linux Gamecast, I'll just be over here laughing in x86.
Huh.
Like, now that we can get these little PCs at this price, I have zero interest in a Raspberry Pi 5. For practical use. It serves no purpose in my life. You know, it's cool that we have a hat with a little ribbon cable on it that we can go buy a case for and a USB charger. Self-contained unit. Done. Let's go. Yeah, you get a Pi to develop ARM. Like, no, I do mean like the Pi 5 and like the big orange Pis and stuff like that. I still am a fan of like the Pi 02W, you know, the smaller one, like what Raspberry Pi was like cool at, all right? All right, cool, everybody. I got to go transmogrify data bits because that's what I do on Wednesdays in the afternoons. Did we think?
That's awesome, Justin! Yay! I'm sorry, I was doing a Google search about DXVK, DixVix, on the Raspberry Pi 5. So I'm finding conflicting information on that.
Why would you want to run it on a Raspberry Pi 5? Even if you got it running, it's not going to be a good experience. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. Strider, what was your FPS with Portal? And that was the original Portal or Portal 2? I think it was the original Portal. But Justin, awesome. That's exciting. You built her very first gaming PC. I kind of remembered you saying that in general sometime.
Yeah,
Strider, if you...
low
but
resolution,
it was a very low resolution.
Playable. Yeah.
But playable. Okay, so maybe like 20, 30 frames per second.
Like 5.
Well, Strider, if you want, gosh, I've been wanting to, it's time for us to get together. I can bring my Raspberry Pi 5 over and we could do some tests on that. That would be fun.
All right. I got to go through. Let me do the thing. Oh, I got to do the thing before I do the thing. I'm not being cryptic. I'm just going through the things I got to do here with Twitch in order for that window not to pop up next time I open.
Oh, yeah.
If I got the chat window open, I close the browser and then I close, and next time I open the browser, the window pops up and we go through this like fight. I got to make sure to close the chat. All right. Cool, everybody. Get up to something this week. I'll be in a chat in Discord if you want to chit chat about stuff, and if you get any questions about doing stuff with your video cards and your audio cards and all that, head over to the Interfacing Linux web zone, where there are forums where you can ask questions and I will reply to them.
Yeah.
Best possible.
So cool.
We are currently discussing FATO and NVIDIA drivers. Good times. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Love you all.
Bonk.